Kodak Black just went nuclear, and the internet can't even process it yet. It all exploded after Boosie called him out, saying, "Dude, need help FR, and the reaction was instant chaos. This wasn't a petty diss or some casual clapback, it was a public spotlight on years of unspoken tension, loyalty, and street codes that neither man is willing to compromise. Boosie saw Kodak stumbling on stage, late, shaky, and instantly spoke from experience, from scars, from survival. He called it out loud, unfiltered, and unafraid, and the world watched. But Kodak? He wasn't taking this sitting down. March 7th, 2026, he crashed Boosie's IG Live, uninvited, demanding an apology, calling him out for broadcasting his struggles to the world. It was raw, it was personal, and it was shocking. The tension? You could feel it through the screen. Two men, both battle-tested, both survivors of street life, legal hell, and personal demons, standing toe-to-toe in a clash where respect, loyalty, and generational codes collided. And the history behind it all? Kodak once looked up to Boosie, even passed on deals early in his career, only to make a move with Tekashi 6ix9ine that changed everything. One track, one collaboration, and suddenly, a mentor became a critic and admiration turned into public confrontation. This isn't just hip-hop drama. This is survival, pride, and legacy clashing live for the world to witness. And what you're about to see, it's explosive, messy, and will have fans debating who's right for weeks. The stage was set, and the internet had already caught fire. Kodak Black wasn't just reacting, he was confronting history, legacy, and the unspoken rules of hip-hop all at once. Boosie's words didn't come lightly. "Dude, need help FR," he said, and every fan, every critic, and every observer instantly knew who he meant. It wasn't a joke, it wasn't a meme. It was a call-out from someone who had been through hell and back, someone who had survived Angola, cancer, federal court battles, and countless nights in the trenches. Boosie wasn't just speaking as a rapper. He was speaking as a survivor, a mentor, and a man who understood the weight of legacy. Kodak had been on stage in Texas, February 23, 2026, looking wobbly, late by 9 hours, his crew holding him up to prevent a complete collapse in front of thousands. Clips spread across social media like wildfire. Some fans worried, some laughed, some criticized, and some knew something deeper was brewing. Kodak's team tried damage control, saying the camera angles made him look worse than he was, but the damage was already done. By the next day, Boosie had made his statement, and the public was divided instantly. The tension escalated when Boosie went live on Instagram, breaking down the situation in raw, unfiltered terms. He wasn't just talking about Kodak being shaky on stage. He was talking about responsibility, mentorship, and generational reflection. "Hey, __, you need to get in the gym, Kodak. __, you ducking all on stage," he said. The words stung because they weren't random. Boosie saw himself in Kodak, the raw talent, the potential, and the chance to be a leader of a generation, and watching him stumble hit differently. Kodak, however, had no interest in accepting a public critique. He listened, absorbed, and planned his response. On March 7th, 2026, he crashed Boosie's IG Live uninvited. The confrontation was immediate, electric. Kodak demanded accountability, not from the world, but from Boosie himself. "Y'all don't even know what's going on. So why y'all speaking on it? You don't have the full picture," Kodak said, his voice tense, red-eyed, and dripping frustration. He called out Boosie for airing his personal struggles publicly, framing it as a violation of trust and a breach of the unwritten rules between them. In hip-hop, calling someone's sword carries heavy weight, a serious accusation, and Kodak wasn't holding back. But Boosie wasn't shaken. He'd faced bigger battles. IG Live. Interruptions didn't scare him. He doubled down, refusing to apologize. "I ain't got to clean my face for nobody, Kodak. I'm a gangster. I don't owe nobody that," he said. That one live exchange captured years of tension, betrayal, mentorship, and clout politics in under 5 minutes. Fans and media watched, divided, as the feud unfolded in real time, unfiltered. To fully understand why this confrontation hit so hard, we have to rewind. It all started back in 2023 with Kodak's collaboration with Tekashi 6ix9ine on Shaka Laka. For Boosie, that was the ultimate betrayal. Tekashi is one of the most infamous snitches in rap history. In 2019, he testified against his own crew during a federal case, a cardinal sin in street and hip-hop culture. Boosie had lived that code. He'd served time rather than betray his own people. Watching someone he'd mentored hop on a track with Tekashi was personal. The collaboration opened a rift that never truly healed. Kodak saw it as a business decision, a strategic move to grow his career and secure the bag. But Boosie took it as a moral failing, a betrayal of street credibility, and an insult to the mentorship he had invested. "That yak messed me up," he said on IG Live, explaining the weight of the decision. He even admitted he regretted participating in tracks with Kodak after that moment, highlighting just how deep the disappointment ran. The history between them is complicated. Kodak once admired Boosie, looked up to him as a mentor, and even declined a deal reportedly worth $10,000 early in his career. Their bond was personal, rooted in shared struggles in the South, Baton Rouge and Pompano Beach, two cities shaped by poverty, crime, and survival. But that history, that foundation of mutual respect, was fractured by choices, collaborations, and clout plays. Fast forward to 2025 to 2026. Kodak dropped Christmas Eve on January 7, 2026, a direct diss aimed at Boosie. Every line, every bar was calculated. Wealth comparisons, resentment, and subtle digs at missed opportunities. The track dropped one day before Boosie's federal gun court appearance, and the timing was no accident. Kodak knew exactly what he was doing. Boosie, already on edge, didn't take it lightly. He fired back on social media, calling Kodak a clout-chasing crackhead and denouncing the track as weak. The streets, the fans, and social media erupted into debate: old heads versus young blood, street code versus bag culture. This confrontation wasn't just about music, it was about survival, legacy, and personal demons. Both men have lived through arrests, substance abuse, and near-death experiences. Kodak's history with drugs, opioids, fentanyl, and publicized moments of appearing off stage had been a point of public scrutiny. Boosie's battles with cancer, diabetes, and federal gun charges had also shaped his perspective. Neither is innocent, neither is untouchable. Both have skeletons, and both know the consequences of public exposure. When Boosie spoke on Kodak, it wasn't casual, it was mentorship from experience. But when Kodak crashed his live, it wasn't clout, it was a demand for accountability and respect. The stakes were personal, cultural, and generational. The clash exposed a fundamental divide in hip-hop. Who has the right to call out another artist? Public accountability or private mentorship? Loyalty to the streets or pursuit of the bag? By the end of the March 2026 IG Live, no resolution had been reached. Boosie stood firm. Kodak refused to be lectured publicly. Fans debated endlessly online. Some sided with Boosie's moral authority, others with Kodak's autonomy. But what emerged was clear. This feud wasn't about ego, it was about the raw, unfiltered consequences of choices, culture, and survival in hip-hop. And that brings us to today. The clash between Kodak Black and Boosie isn't just a feud, it's a cultural mirror, reflecting generational tension, street ethics, and the blurred line between mentorship and public accountability. Every viral clip, every live confrontation, every diss track is a snapshot of a deeper story, a story of struggle, respect, betrayal, and survival. And the world is still watching. By March 7, 2026, the simmering tension had reached its boiling point. Kodak Black wasn't going to let Boosie's public comments sit without challenge. He knew the stakes, his image, his legacy, and the perception of his generation were on the line. That night, he crashed Boosie's Instagram live uninvited, instantly transforming a casual streaming session into a historic face-off. Cameras were rolling, fans were watching, and the energy was electric. Kodak went straight for the point. "Y'all don't even know what's going on, so why y'all speaking on it?" His tone was sharp, measured, and filled with years of pent-up frustration. He wasn't talking to the public, he was talking directly to Boosie. Every word carried weight, a direct strike at someone who had once been a mentor. You don't have the full picture. So why are you putting my business out there for everyone to pick apart? The word sword hung heavy in the air, a term in hip-hop that signifies betrayal, exposure, and violation of trust. Kodak was saying, in no uncertain terms, that Boosie had crossed a line. Boosie, however, remained unfazed. This wasn't his first battle, and it wouldn't be his last. He'd faced Angola, battled cancer, fought federal charges, and lived through moments that would break most men. I ain't got to clean my face for nobody, Kodak. I'm a gangster. I don't owe nobody that, he said. Calm, confident, and unwavering. The live session was now more than a clash of two men. It was a collision of histories, values, and cultural codes. Fans watched, captivated. Social media exploded. Clips circulated instantly. Reactions split along generational and philosophical lines. Some argued Boosie was speaking truth, holding Kodak accountable for public behavior. Others sided with Kodak, insisting that mentorship should happen privately, not broadcast for views and likes. The debate was more than a rap beef, it was a microcosm of the tension between old-school street codes and modern hustle culture. The roots of this feud, however, stretched back further than any viral video. In July 2023, Kodak Black dropped Shaka Laka featuring Tekashi 6ix9ine. For Boosie, the collaboration was a betrayal of the highest order. Tekashi is infamous for cooperating with federal authorities, snitching on his own crew during a racketeering case in 2019. Boosie had lived by the opposite code, loyalty above all. Watching Kodak align with someone he considered the ultimate snitch cut deep. Kodak's explanation was simple: business first. Those people weren't my day ones. They weren't from my block. It's a bag move, he explained in interviews. To him, collaboration was transactional, a means to grow his platform and secure financial stability. But Boosie saw it as a moral failure, a rejection of mentorship and shared values. The disappointment wasn't casual, it was personal. He had invested in Kodak, reached out during his early career, and offered guidance. This wasn't just a song, it was a statement about priorities, ethics, and street credibility. The tension only escalated when Kodak dropped Christmas Eve on January 7, 2026. Every bar was strategic, targeting Boosie with subtle digs and pointed accusations. I used to look up to Boosie. He hate I got more bread than the old head, Kodak rapped. He didn't just diss. He laid out his narrative, defending choices and framing his actions as smart, calculated business decisions. The timing was deliberate. The release came one day before Boosie's federal gun court date. It was chess, not chance, a move meant to provoke a reaction. Boosie reacted immediately. X, formerly Twitter, lit up with posts criticizing Kodak, calling him a clout-chasing crackhead and dismissing the track as weak. Fans split into camps, old heads siding with Boosie's code of honor, younger fans respecting Kodak's hustle and independence. The social media discourse was intense, highlighting generational rifts and differing perspectives on loyalty, ambition, and authenticity. Kodak's response during the live crash was rooted in autonomy and respect for privacy. If you actually care about me as a person, pick up the phone, slide in the DMs, handle it like real ones, he said. For him, Boosie's public critique crossed the line, turning personal concern into content. He framed the debate as private accountability versus public exposure, a conversation that hip-hop has been avoiding for decades. Boosie, however, framed his actions differently. When I see you looking like you drugging and out here I get mad. I'ma tell you that, he explained. It wasn't judgment, it was frustration born from experience. Boosie had seen artists self-destruct publicly and privately, and he understood the consequences. His anger wasn't just about Kodak, it was about the culture, the reflection of the next generation, and the responsibility of leadership within hip-hop. The confrontation exposed deeper issues in the culture: substance abuse, accountability, and mentorship. Kodak's history with drugs, confirmed by interviews and legal records, was public knowledge. Boosie's health battles, legal troubles, and survival story gave him credibility to speak, yet the public nature of his call-out made Kodak defensive. The clash became a debate over who has the authority to intervene, how, and in what medium. The March 2026 IG-Live ended without a resolution. No handshake, no reconciliation, just raw, unfiltered energy, reflecting years of personal history, professional rivalry, and cultural expectations. Kodak maintained his stance, emphasizing personal boundaries and the right to manage one's own life. Boosie remained firm, asserting his perspective as a mentor, a survivor, and a witness to the consequences of unchecked behavior. Fans and media analyzed every word, every tone, every facial expression. Some praised Boosie's courage, others admired Kodak's assertiveness. The feud highlighted a fundamental divide: private accountability versus public scrutiny, street ethics versus modern hustle culture, old-school loyalty versus strategic business moves. The conversation spilled across social media, fueling debates about hip-hop values, generational differences, and what it truly means to be real. This feud, while personal, also reflected larger cultural dynamics. Both men have lived through arrests, substance abuse, and near-death experiences. Kodak's legal troubles, drug use, and public scrutiny created a narrative that Boosie reacted to instinctively. Boosie's survival story, from Angola to kidney cancer, diabetes, and federal charges, lent weight to his words. Neither perspective was perfect, but both were rooted in lived experience, making the confrontation resonate beyond mere music. As the live session ended, the beef retreated from public view, simmering beneath the surface. Fans continued to debate online, dissecting clips, quotes, and lyrics. Media outlets ran retrospectives on the feud, revisiting the Tekashi 6ix9ine collaboration, Christmas Eve, and the IG-Live crash. Analysts explored the generational, cultural, and ethical implications of the clash, recognizing it as more than a rap beef. It was a conversation about the culture itself. At its core, the Kodak Black and Boosie feud was about survival, legacy, and authenticity. Both men had endured challenges that most could never imagine, shaped by poverty, violence, legal battles, and personal loss. Every decision, whether it was a collaboration, a public post, or a live confrontation, was informed by history, experience, and survival instincts. The March IG-Live was the culmination of years of tension, a crystallization of conflicts that had been building since 2023. By analyzing the events from 2023 to early 2026, a pattern emerges. Kodak's choices reflect a focus on autonomy, financial strategy, and personal expression. Boosie's responses reflect mentorship, accountability, and adherence to street ethics. The clash between them is a clash of philosophies, generations, and cultural codes. It isn't just about who wins or loses, it's about the larger conversation their feud sparks within hip-hop. And as the dust settled, it became clear this was not a simple beef. It was a reflection of hip-hop's ongoing struggle with accountability, loyalty, and public versus private intervention. Kodak and Boosie, through their personal histories, legal battles, and life experiences, became living case studies for the questions hip-hop has long avoided. Who has the authority to call out another artist? How should concern be expressed? And when does mentorship cross into public spectacle? The stage was set for the next chapter. Fans waited, analysts debated, and both men continued navigating their complicated lives in the public eye. One thing was certain, this feud wasn't over. It had evolved beyond diss tracks and social media posts into a cultural touchstone, a moment that would be studied, debated, and referenced in hip-hop circles for years to come. After the March 2026 IG-Live confrontation, the tension between Kodak Black and Boosie may have gone off the cameras, but the echoes remained loud. Fans, analysts, and media outlets continued to dissect every clip, every word, and every nuance. This was no longer just a feud between two rappers. It was a case study in mentorship, public accountability, and the generational divide in hip-hop culture. The aftermath was layered. Kodak had made his point. Privacy matters, and concerns should be delivered in a real, personal way, not broadcast for likes or views. He maintained his stance on autonomy, financial independence, and personal boundaries. He continued dropping music and curating his brand, unapologetic for his choices, even when the internet labeled them controversial. For Kodak, the lesson was clear: control the narrative on your own terms. Boosie, on the other hand, doubled down on his philosophy: mentorship and accountability aren't optional. They come from experience, and sometimes, tough love must be public to make an impact. His message resonated with older fans, street purists, and anyone who values codes of loyalty and integrity. Even while managing his federal case, his health challenges, and personal life, Boosie's response to Kodak was unwavering. To him, the confrontation wasn't about clout, it was about preserving the culture. Both men were carrying heavy histories behind them, and those histories influenced every word spoken. Kodak's run-ins with the law, drug use, and brushes with addiction were well documented, but he also had a clear drive to build wealth and independence. Boosie's journey, from the streets of Baton Rouge, surviving Angola, battling kidney cancer, and managing diabetes, gave him a moral authority few could challenge. When their paths crossed publicly, it became inevitable, a clash of survival narratives, values, and priorities. The public reaction remained polarized. On social media, younger fans defended Kodak, emphasizing hustle culture, financial empowerment, and self-expression. They argued that Boosie's critiques were outdated, rooted in street codes that didn't fully apply to modern artists navigating fame, money, and social media. Meanwhile, older fans sided with Boosie, emphasizing accountability, mentorship, and the importance of public example setting. The conversation sparked debates in hip-hop forums, podcasts, and comment sections, highlighting the generational and philosophical split in rap culture. Meanwhile, the broader industry watched closely. Collaborators, rivals, and media figures recognized that this feud was about more than just personal animosity. It was about culture, legacy, and the way public figures manage both their personal struggles and public image. Record labels, managers, and PR teams used it as a case study in the delicate balance between content, controversy, and authenticity. Every move Kodak and Boosie made became a lesson in how fame, accountability, and social media intersect in modern hip-hop. Over time, the feud shifted from public spectacles to more subtle exchanges. Diss tracks were released, but carefully. Interviews hinted at unresolved issues, but neither side fully engaged publicly. The culture had moved on in headlines, but hardcore fans knew the story was far from over. Both Kodak and Boosie remained influential in their own spheres, with the feud serving as a reminder of the complexity of mentorship, loyalty, and survival in hip-hop. Reflection became a theme. Kodak, in interviews and social media posts, acknowledged that Boosie's concern, even if public, came from experience and genuine care. Yet, he maintained that the delivery was flawed. His perspective highlighted a shift in modern hip-hop: accountability should respect personal autonomy. Meanwhile, Boosie reflected on his role as a mentor, emphasizing that sometimes public intervention is necessary when the stakes are high, especially for younger artists navigating fame and substance abuse. The clash also illuminated a deeper cultural conversation about substance abuse in hip-hop. Kodak's struggles with drugs, publicized both by him and by viral footage, underscored the contradiction in the culture. It celebrates excess in music, but reacts with judgment when it appears in real life. Boosie's interventions reflected a desire to protect younger artists, not just admonish them. The conversation extended beyond these two men, sparking broader discussions about support systems, accountability, and mentorship in a high-pressure industry. By late 2026, the beef had largely moved underground, but its lessons persisted. Both artists had evolved. Kodak continued releasing music and building his brand, integrating lessons about privacy, public perception, and resilience. Boosie maintained his voice in hip-hop, mentoring where he could, and sharing his experiences as cautionary tales and lessons in accountability. For fans and cultural observers, the feud became a reference point for the intersection of personal history, public scrutiny, and cultural responsibility in hip-hop. In the end, this wasn't a simple win or loss scenario. Kodak and Boosie had both endured trauma, legal battles, health scares, and the intense scrutiny of the public eye. Their confrontation reflected the clash of different philosophies: personal autonomy versus mentorship, hustle versus street code, privacy versus public accountability. Neither side fully lost, and neither side fully won. The impact was cultural, educational, and ongoing. The saga of Kodak Black and Boosie Badass serves as a lens into the complexities of modern hip-hop. It shows that public conflicts are rarely just about ego or entertainment. They are often rooted in deep personal histories, values, and survival instincts. Every diss, every live session, every social media post carries weight. Every choice reflects not only personal priorities, but the legacy and culture they represent. Ultimately, the Kodak Boosie saga leaves an indelible mark on hip-hop history. It reminds artists and fans alike that mentorship, accountability, and authenticity are critical yet complicated concepts. It demonstrates how personal struggles, when made public, ripple through generations. And it underscores a reality that transcends individual beefs. In hip-hop, every action, every word, and every alliance carries consequences far beyond the studio or stage. As the feud settled into a quieter rhythm, one thing remained clear: both Kodak Black and Boosie Badass had proven that survival in hip-hop is as much about navigating relationships, history, and culture as it is about making music. Their story is not just a beef, it's a lesson in resilience, responsibility, and the complex ethics of a world where personal history and public image collide in the spotlight of fame. And while fans may continue to debate who is right or wrong, what really matters is the enduring impact of the saga, a case study in mentorship, accountability, and survival, an epic chapter in the ongoing story of hip-hop culture itself.